All right, big show, good show. Yeah. Baseball
Great
tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Let's
a
go.
bad day.
Yeah.
Sticking around on YouTube because I was informed this morning that we will be having a guest come into the studio, and I'm going to tell you what, the guest that's coming into the studio, I don't think anybody would ever think he and I would be having a conversation. Ain't that right, Tom?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
I extended an invitation to this man to come on the show because he and I have been, had a couple animosity situations happen before. Mm-hmm. I've worked with the NXT, obviously, WWE NXT for the last few years. He and I had some run-ins, but I have nothing but respect for his work. Here he is. A man who is in town to see his family, the longest reigning NXT champ of all time.
I'm here. How's it going, man?
Adam Cole. Baby!
Yeah! Woo! That's a pretty good intro. Not bad.
Can you move the mic towards your face so people can hear you?
Closer towards it. Sorry.
By the
very
way,
much in family mode right now. So.
Yeah, thank you for coming by.
Yeah,
Welcome
no
to Indianapolis. Very, very thankful you're here. A lot of people have told me, they said, hey, you've worked with NXT for a long time. I've been very lucky to cover the NXT brand, by the way. Hottest brand in sports entertainment.
Without question.
Without question.
Yeah.
And you and I have had moments, and I've been told by my friends in WWE, they go, hey, you and Adam have your moments on screen, but you've never had them on the show. I heard you're coming to town. I invited you to come. You came. Very stand-up move by you.
Yeah, a bunch of my fans keep telling me about your show as well, which, truth be told, I haven't seen much of any of it. But I wanted to make sure that I came and chatted with you a little bit. So I'm glad I'm here. It's a really cool setup.
Well, the good news for you is the people who have seen the show probably have never seen you. So we're introducing you to a...
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
This is Adam Cole!
Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
For people that don't know who you are, okay, you were the longest reigning NXT champion, 403 days. Very, very impressive. You lost recently, but your journey in the wrestling world to being this guy at WWE NXT has been a long one, I assume, like everybody in the wrestling business.
Yeah, I got started like a lot of people. I was 18 years old. I was still a senior in high school. I used to drive 2 hours to Philadelphia. It was 2 hours there, 2 hours back, and I would train Monday through Thursday for a company called Combat Zone Wrestling. It was an independent promotion
CZW
in Philadelphia. Yeah, Ultra Violence. But yeah, yeah. So I got my start there, and then again just traveled in cars, really long rides, like 16-hour car rides, lots of times for zero money. Just the hope and prayers that I got picked up by a bigger company or got to wrestle somewhere else, and then I started wrestling overseas. So yeah, it took me about 10 years, man, to get to WWE.
A lot of people don't know about the independent wrestling scene.
Right.
But there are, you said you didn't get paid a lot of times, you drove a long way. There are these horror stories amongst wrestlers where you're wrestling in front of like 4 people, 5 people.
I got a good one.
Okay.
I got a good one for you. One time in the Poconos, I wrestled in front of 6 people, and it was a family of 6. The 5 of the members of the family did not make a noise, didn't make a peep the entire show. But the dad, no shirt underneath, just overalls on, he was rocking back and forth like this, just going, "Get him! Get him!" Greatest moment of my life.
Did he enjoy you? Yeah, he was a big fan.
I think so, yeah, I think he liked me. I think he saw some potential in me even back then.
When did you get your call up to NXT? That had to be like dream come true, I'd assume.
It was really cool. So again, at this point, I was a fairly established independent wrestler.
You had been to the Honorable Ring.
Exactly. I was there, and then in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, I'd wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Stuff was going really, really well for me. So when it came time that my contract was coming up, I had heard rumblings that there was some interest right before my deal actually came up, or right when it finished. That's when I got the call that I'd been hoping for 10 years. Because I had done tryouts and stuff before as well, where like I think I had done 2 or 3 WWE tryouts before I actually got hired. And every time that no came, tryout after tryout, it hurt more and more. So to finally get that call of not only that they were interested in hiring me, but that they had plans and a vision for who I was going to be in NXT, it was surreal.
For people that don't know who NXT is or what NXT is, there's Raw, there's SmackDown, and then NXT was originally a developmental brand, but now since it's on USA Network every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, it's become a third legit brand. Did you know that when you signed with WWE that's what NXT was going to be?
No. So, I mean, at this point, NXT had really established itself as this really exciting, hard-hitting, innovative, action-packed form of pro wrestling. So again, takeovers were still going strong, but by no means.
Well, a lot of people said takeovers were going strong because the pre-shows were so fucking.
Yeah,
awesome.
that's a lot of people had mentioned that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pre-shows
anyway,
were fucking awesome.
Yeah, the best.
Sorry, no, that's on me.
the point I was trying to make
Yeah.
was, again, takeovers were hot, but at this point, it was still kind of considered the developmental brand. But then I kind of came through this whole transition of NXT. We were filming stuff for the network and filming TV like multiple weeks at a time. So now to go from that to, again, live on the USA Network on Wednesdays, we're very much a third brand. And to me, the most exciting brand in not just WWE, but pro wrestling.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to the product whenever I went to an NXT live event here in Indianapolis, and you said some very disrespectful things about me, but the show was so damn good. I had nothing but respect for it. And then I got a call to start doing the pre-shows, and I started watching these takeovers, and I'm like, man, these dudes and ladies, the ladies put on incredible. This is next level. It is absolutely, it is a brand that I don't think anybody could have expected, including Triple H, whenever he started that thing, to be as dominant as it is. And you've been basically the face of that thing for a couple of years. That has to feel pretty cool. I mean, that has to be a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, it feels even cooler too, because I know I've said this before in interviews, but the fans are such a huge part of that brand's success. Like, the fans are just as much a part of the show as the wrestlers are. Just the energy that they have, the excitement they have. They knew my history well before I got there. Like, my first night in NXT, after I attacked now WWE champion Drew McIntyre, I remember standing at the top of the ramp.
Oh, it's kind of a blindside, by the way.
And doing, I made a statement.
Okay.
Anyway, so the coolest part was me, who'd never been in WWE before, got to the top of the ramp, did Adam Cole Bebe. Everyone did it with me. They were ready. They were excited. So, yeah, for me to be kind of the flag bearer, the guy who's led the charge, the guy who's been the standard bearer of NXT now for well over a year, it's a cool thing. Just because I look at our roster and I see how talented so many of the men and women are, and to think that I'm the king of that brand is pretty cool.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You said that with a straight face. I've never heard somebody say something like that with a straight. I'm so sorry. I did not expect you to say that with a straight face.
So you have an argument to that? How was I not the king of the brand?
I know, and I saw you say, I reign over this. I mean, there was a lot of... Okay, listen, you've had a lot of success. You brought NXT. You were a part of a group that brought NXT. And a lot of people said the pre-show is also the reason why, but to USA, to TV, and then all of a sudden this quarantine hits, right?
Yeah.
So then now there's no fans, which you just talked about. Fans are a massive part of it.
They are.
How has it been in that entire process? Because I couldn't have fathomed a recipe for disaster more in the professional wrestling sports entertainment world than no fans to have any reactions from.
It is freaking weird.
I
man.
could fathom, yeah.
It is so weird. Like, but it's also not as weird as you would imagine. So like, again, you know, the bumps and the bruises and the pain from wrestling matches are far worse when there are no people there.
Well, I know what you're talking about. Because if you do, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I know about the bumps and the bruises from wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. More than
Boys.
most.
Sporting a couple.
Hey, Mr. Cole.
You know about the bumps.
Listen, Mr. Cole, everybody knows I have a deep history with the internet. And one night, late night, got a little intoxicated, bought a wrestling ring, put it up in the barn. Rip Rogers came through the barn. He trained John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Pat McAfee for 5 weeks. So no big deal.
I mean this out of complete respect, so totally not trying to offend you, but just because one night you got drunk and then rolled around in your own wrestling ring a couple nights, that doesn't mean that you understand at all what the bumps and bruises are like.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. I'm just letting you know that I respect the bumps and bruises that
that's
you have
not
with
what
no
you said,
fans.
but, okay.
Because when I'm just working with, John Cena's coach, it's just me, him, and the barn.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally know what you're talking about.
I do. Oh, speaking of knowing what I'm talking about, there is a lot of buzz about you because you have been the king of NXT and longest reigning NXT champion and first ever North American champion. And I do believe, hey, let's show a little respect to the first ever.
Exactly. First ever double champion in NXT history. A lot of people don't talk about it. I was NXT Tag Team Champion and NXT North American Champion in the same night.
Ever heard of it? That's what we're talking about here.
That's what
Double
we're talking
champion.
about.
You have all these accolades.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of comparisons to you and Mr. WrestleMania. You and a
Yeah.
guy named Shawn Michaels, who I think is obviously a mentor of yours down there at the Performance Center. But I think even you, as a student of the business, would understand that you're nowhere near what Shawn Michaels was. But that has to feel pretty good to be in the same breath as a man that you have a lot of respect for?
Okay. All things considered with what you just said, first of all, Shawn Michaels himself has said there's a lot of comparisons between the two of us, which to me is a huge compliment. And let me finish. I feel like you're going to cut me off.
Well, he's a nice guy.
So he is a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's also one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler of all time. So by any means, I have never, ever once said that I am as good as Shawn Michaels, ever. I know I have years and years to go before I get to that point. I think Shawn recognizes that I'm on my way to maybe someday having a career like his, but he'll tell you, and I'll tell you, I'm not worried about being the second coming of Shawn Michaels. I'm going to be the first Adam Cole. So, again, I really don't know what what you're trying to say, but...
Oh, no, I didn't mean to offend, because you just said it there. Greatest wrestler of all time.
But you can say you're not trying to offend me, but it is offensive, what you're saying.
I didn't mean it.
I thought we were having a good time.
You've never offended a guest before.
Ever. But let's stay on that vein there, because the comparisons to Shawn Michaels are obviously a good one. You know, it's obviously you're on your way. He said it. You said it. The people say it. But he was able to make his name all by himself. And I think this is a pretty big difference with you. You, whenever you got brought into NXT to, you know, be the king that you call, they surrounded you with people that some people, I don't say this, some people say this, more talent. What are you getting upset about? These are things that are being said.
And it's a valid question.
I am an interviewer. Okay, people say you surrounded yourself, which is very smart, and they might have done it for you, with people that were also very, very talented, maybe even more talented than you. And then the Undisputed Era kind of got a chance to take off.
I know that you're just trying to do your job, and that's fine. I took some time out of visiting my family to come and do your show, but you're being a total dick right now.
Me?
And I find it so ironic.
Me?
That of all people to say that I surrounded myself with really great talent, and that's the reason I succeeded. Of all people, you, what a punter.
Whoa.
You being on a team that literally did everything. You just happen to kick a football every now and then, and all of a sudden you feel like you're really, really important. Of all people to say that to me, that I surround myself with super talented people, and that's the only reason that I was successful. You're a psycho.
Whoa. We didn't say only reason.
Uh-oh.
We said
It's pretty much
main
what
reason.
Okay. Main reason. That's exactly what you're saying.
And since you just kind of took a little jab there at my profession, that I used
You've
to
been taking jabs at me this whole show.
No.
No.
I was the player of the decade at my position in the NFL, being a punter. So although I was surrounded by good people, it was just me and a ball.
And Pat, guess what? I was the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. And guess who did that all by themselves? Oh, that's right, me. Did it all by myself.
No, don't believe that. We've watched the takeovers, Adam. The Undisputed Era is the main reason why you've succeeded. But by the way, smart. That's good business. Hey, that's business, baby. That's very smart. Well, and especially for you, because, you know, you're kind of small.
Oh, we're going to go with the size thing now.
Fuck you, Pat. Seriously, I'm sick of your shit. I come the whole way here, take time away from my family to come to do your stupid fucking show. And you're going to continue to disrespect me. Don't touch me.
Whoa.
Fuck you, Pat. Fuck you.
No, fuck you. Get out of here.
Piece of shit.
You all right? What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Wow.
I mean, a lot happened here very quickly. Was I being condescending to him?
No, complimenting him.
I didn't think so either. I thought I was just pointing out the facts. Have we ever been that disrespected in our own studio before? No. No. That's why I haven't had him on the show, though, by the way.
Smart.
Because you don't know what this guy. You have no idea what this guy.
Fucking loose cannon.
I mean, we're having a good conversation. We're up and running, and boom, all of a sudden, he's right here. Fuck me, fuck you. This pushes Ty, who's got colitis. And we even talk about that. And then he storms off. What's he doing now? Breaking shit out in the office?
I mean, you can't.
Thursday, July 23rd. I have no idea how we get out. Like, what am I going to... Am I going to go fight this guy out here? Do you think he's just sitting... He's Billy Tubes and him and my dad just hanging out right now? What do we do here? That's a show. Hey, watch along tonight. Yankees and Nationals. Tony Foch throwing out the opening pitch. We'll have special guests. Be a friend, tell a friend. Say, hey, come watch the MLB prime time Yankees and Nationals game with Pat McAfee, AJ Hawk, the boys, special guests. And also tell them that Adam Cole's a fucking asshole. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Now we got to go figure this out. Are we going to
Yeah.
Are we going to fight somebody right now? I guess this is what we got to do. Let's go. That's the show.